Welcome to the Weslaco High School Gymnasium, where today K-West is bringing you a district matchup between the Lady Chargers of Brownsville Veteran Memorial High School and your Lady Wildcats of Weslaco East High School. We've had the player introductions, we've had the national anthem, and we are set to get way here in this district matchup between your Lady Wildcats and the Lady Chargers. Of course, the Lady Wildcats are under the direction of Zanya Gorena, who is the head coach, the third year as a head coach of the Lady Wildcats. So far this season, Lady Wildcats have had great success in district play. They are 3-1, and this year, of course, it is a 10-team district, so we are in the first round of district play. They've had 4 games, and they've won games against Donna North, and Brownsville Porter. Their only loss thus far this season is to Brownsville Lopez. Lady Chargers are under the direction of Sherry Hoskins, and she is assisted by Arnold Torres and Nubia de la Fuente. They are atop of the district standings with Brownsville Lopez and a few other teams. And, of course, being that it is early in the season, we still have a lock in second place as well. And your Lady Wildcats are part of that bottleneck in second place in district play. Teams are making their way onto the court. Graciela Avila, Elise Fort, and Montserrat de los Santos are the front line for the Lady Chargers. In the back line, we've got Cassie Garcia, the libero Andrea Chapa, and Paulina Ramirez. And Paulina Ramirez will be doing the serving for the Lady Chargers. America Valdez, Jaylin Figueroa, and Valeria Juarez in the back row for the Lady Wildcats. Ramirez with the serve to get things going here in this match. Big swing from Elvira Perez goes long. The first point of this game here today goes to the Lady Chargers. Ramirez with the serve is a lefty. That one goes into the net. And now we are tied at 1. Juarez, Figueroa, and Perez in the back row. Perez with the serve goes into the net. Point. Lady Chargers 2-1 here early on in the first set.
Let's go, Boo.
Michaela Lerma on to serve for the Lady Chargers. Great job in the back row by Juarez. They'll set it back to Juarez. That one goes into the net. Point Lady Chargers. They are now up 3-1. Michaela Lerma. That one off the top of the net. Good job by Juarez to dig that one, and that goes long. So now it is 4-1 in favor of the Lady Chargers. So a couple of early shots from the Lady Wildcats going long. Juarez got to get it over. She bumps it across. They'll set it up all the way down to the bottom, and that is going to be Casey Garcia. But a great job defensively by the Lady Wildcats to keep it alive. Little tip trying to get it over is Avila, but a great job by the front row of the Lady Wildcats to be aware of what's going on and just knocking it right back and getting the point. Trailing 2-4. J. Fig, the senior, back to serve. J. Fig, one of those multi-sport athletes. Big kill from Fort. That's a point for the Lady Chargers. 5-2, they are up. I'm mentioning that J. Fig, a multi-sport athlete, also big part of that softball team here for the Lady Wildcats. Fort with the serve. That one into the net. Point Lady Chargers. And now their lead is 6-2. Elise Fort with the serve. Set it up for Perales, and again long. And now it is a 5-point lead for the Lady Chargers, 7-2. So Fort will continue to serve for the Lady Chargers. That one goes into the net. Point, Lady Wildcats, 3-7. Carissa Perez back to serve. Set in the middle. Good block there by Peña. Peña getting high, getting both hands up over the net, and gets herself a block. And that's a point for your Lady Wildcats. Perez with the serve into the net. Point, Lady Chargers, they're up 8-4. Marifer Solis comes onto the court. Biselda Calzada with the serve. They'll set it up in the middle, back row to Perez. Perez gets it over, and the Lady Chargers don't have an answer for that one. And it's a point for your Lady Wildcats. 5-8, they trail by 3. Peña with the serve. Little confusion as to who's going to take it. But a good job by Lerma to get it across, but it's a little wide, and that's a point for your Lady Wildcats. Cutting into this lead, 1 point at a time, now trailing only by 2, 6-8. In the middle, that one gets over. And a great shot there in the middle by Perales, putting it where they ain't. And now it is a 1 point deficit. Lady Wildcats trailing 7-8. Serve high. That is Garcia, long with that one, and they are tied at 8 here in the first set. Peña with the serve. All the way across, setting it up to Solis. She gets it over. That time, Lady Wildcats a little long. Point, Lady Chargers. Up by 1, 9-8. They'll send Cassie Garcia back to serve. Garcia with the serve. They'll set it up. That one is long. Great set to Perales, but just a little wide, trying to go across the court. And that'll be a point for the Lady Chargers. They are now up by 2, 10-8. J. Fig with the bump. Gets it to Perez. Perez across. Right back is Perales. And with the put down is Lane. Tamar Lane with a great presence of mind to find an open slot on the court. Give the Lady Chargers a 3-point lead, 11-8. Garcia still serving. That's Perales. That was touched by the Lady Chargers. Point, Lady Wildcats. (9-11), Lady Wildcats trailing by 2. Micaela Perales with the serve. Third shot's got to go over. They get it across. Set it up in the middle to Valero. Valero gets it over. That one is in. Point, Lady Chargers. Lady Chargers come right back aggressively. Back to a 3-point lead for them, 12-9. The libero, Andrea Chapa, back to serve. Back row. In the middle of Valero, a block. And at the top of your screen, it is Solis and Fort with the block. 13-9, Lady Chargers on top here in set number 1. Chapa with the serve. Chapa with the dig. Fort trying to get one down. She gets it. Valdez couldn't handle it cleanly. And so that's another point for the Lady Chargers. They are now up by 5, 14-9. Chapa with the serve. Valdez. They'll set it up to Valero. Fort. Lane. Here comes Fort. Gets over on the second shot. And they set it up to Valdez. Valdez with a little dink, but a great job by Solis to keep it in play.
Get ready.
Jay Fig with another save. That one goes over, but a good job by Calzada to keep it alive. And the Lady Wildcats couldn't keep it in play. So that's another point for the Lady Chargers. They are up by 6. Chapa with the serve. Good job by Valdez. Set it up in the middle of the Fort. Fort with a big kill. And now it is a 7-point lead for the Lady Chargers. 16-9, 16-9 is the score. Coach Gorena calling timeout. Wants to talk things over with the Lady Wildcats. You're enjoying Lady Wildcat volleyball right here on K-West. Drea Chapa centering for the Lady Chargers. They are up 16-9. That one goes in the wrong direction. 17-9 is now the score. It's an 8-point lead for the Lady Chargers. Chapa retrieves the volleyball, back to serving. J. Fig. Juarez in the middle to Valero. Little dink over. Lady Chargers ready for that one. De Los Santos with a big swing, and that one is blocked by the Lady Wildcats. Great job there by Elvira Perez. 10-17 as the Lady Wildcats picked up that last point. They'll send Valeria Juarez back to serve. In the middle, Fort. She'll push it across. Valdez ready for that one. That is too long, and it's back to an 8-point lead for the Lady Chargers, 18-10. Couple of substitutions being made by the Lady Chargers. Graciela Avila on the court. And back to serve is Paulina Ramirez, the lefty. Third shot's got to get over. A great presence of mind by Perez, taking that one backwards. Waiting for the call. They're going to say that's long. And it's a point for the Lady Wildcats. 11-18, they trail by 7. Elvira Perez with the serve. I'll set it up to the top of your screen. De Los Santos, but a good job in the middle by Valero. (19-11), Lady Chargers on top. Pushed across by Peña. Trying to look for an open area. Lady Chargers quickly get over. That one goes in the net. It is now a 9-point lead for the Lady Chargers, 20-11. Back serving for the Lady Chargers, Michaela Lerma. And that's a big kill by Fort. And now it's a 10-point lead, the biggest lead of the day for the Lady Chargers. 21-11. Lerma serve. That is a ace as that one falls in play. 22-11.
Keep it up, Boom. Keep it up. Let's go.
Lerma continues to serve for the Lady Chargers. Perez. Cross to J-Fig into the net. 23-11. Lerma serving. Good job there, keeping it in play. To the top. Good block there by the Lady Wildcats. Top of your screen. Valero along with Peña. 12-13, they trail. J-Fig with the serve. Fort all the way across, and they're going to say that's long. 13-23.
Control the ball, ladies. Control the ball. Let's go.
J-Fig with the serve. Good dig there by the libero. Good save by Perez. That one was coming hard. Across. Great save by the Lady Chargers. Lerma had to get it over. She does. They set it up in the middle to Peña. Peña gets it over. Set to Garcia. She gets it across. Big swing from Perales, but the Lady Chargers were ready for that one. Perales with a good save. Lady Wildcats couldn't catch up to it. And now it is set point, 24-13. Elise Fort back to serve for the Lady Chargers, 24-13.
Get ready, ladies. Get ready.
Perez.
Nice.
Great save, great dig there by J-Fig. Perales gets it over. Set in the middle, and a good job by Tamar Lane to get that one over and gives the first set to the Lady Chargers. They're up 1-0, 25-13. Set one goes to the Lady Chargers. We'll be right back. Second set about to get underway. The Lady Chargers take set number one, 25-13. And what we are now seeing, and I know it's not a big deal, but during the COVID years, we did not see them flip sides. And now that we're kind of loosening the restrictions, we see them going back to the swapping of sides. Lady Wildcats up front. Carice Perez along with Valero. And big swing from Ford, and that's a kill for her. And in the back row for is Ambrosia Peña, J-Fig, along with Valeria Juarez. The lefty, Ramirez, starting to serve for the Lady Chargers. They get the first point. That's a big swing from the Lady Chargers, but a great job by Perez to keep it going. We'll set it up in the middle for Fort. Fort gets another kill, and now it's 2-0. Lady Chargers on top here in the second set. Paulina Ramirez back to serve. That one goes into the net. Point Lady Wildcats. 1-2. They are down here early in set number two. Elvira Perez back to serve. Back row, middle set. All the way to the top, but a good job with the block is Valero. This time they go away from her. Opt to just dink it over. Big swing, J-Fig with the dig.
Get ready, ladies.
top. Good swing from the front row. Ambrosia Peña, she gets herself a kill. And now the score is tied at 2. Perez with the serve for your Lady Wildcats. That is wide right. Point Lady Chargers, 3-2. They are up by 1 here in set number 2.
Let's go, boom.
Michaela Lerma back to serve for the Lady Chargers. They'll set it up in the middle. That's Ambrosia Peña. Good dig by the Libero, I'm sorry.
Get ready, get ready.
That is Valero right there, getting it across. And that's a kill from Fort. I believe that's her third in set number 2.
Nice and clean.
Up by 2 are the Lady Chargers, 4-2 here in set number 2. Lerma continues to serve.
Get
Set
ready.
here in the middle to Peña. Goes long, and it's 5-2. Lady Chargers on top.
Chapa, that's called wisdom, Chapa. Excellent.
Lerma serving. J-Fig in the middle to Perez.
Oh, use that.
Valero pushes it over.
Reward her.
Big swing in the net. Point Lady Wildcats, trailing by 2, 3-5. J-Fig back to serve. Long serve to the back row. Had Chapa backpedaling. Couldn't get it cleanly, so it's a point for your Lady Wildcats. 4-5. Lady Wildcats trail by 1. J-Fig with the serve. They'll set it up to Garcia. She punches it over. And that's a big block in the middle from Avila and Fort. And that's a point for the Lady Chargers. They're up by 2, 6-4. And they'll send Fort back to serve. Fort with the serve. Perez. Started it out. She sends it across. They're going to say that is long. 5-6. Lady Wildcats trailing only by 1 here in set number 2. Carissa Perez back to serve. Back row. They set it up. Avila with the slam. 2-point lead for the Lady Chargers, 7-5.
That's amazing, Grace.
Mircea Calzada back to serve. Back row to Juarez. Goes beyond her. 8-5 Lady Chargers. Calzada with the serve. That's in. Calzada with an ace. 9-5, 4-point lead for the Lady Chargers. Calzada with her little pre-serve ritual, ready to serve. J-Fig, good save from Peña as she goes out to the bench to keep that one alive. And that's a big point from the Lady Chargers. They now extend the lead to 5. Calzada with the serve. That one mishandled. Perales.
Good serve. That's a good serve.
Not sure. Now it's a 6-point lead, 11-5. Lady Wildcats Coach Gorena calling timeout. We'll be right back right here on K-West.
In 1921, 100 years ago, WISD started educating the area children. Bring 2 sack lunches and tools to help clear a field for athletics, the notice said. Buildings from the early years serve as a reminder of how far we have come. Through all the history and over time, educating students, expanding horizons, changing the world, helping build this community. Weslaco ISD, 100 years in the making, and still the right choice.
We are in the second set in this match between the Lady Chargers of Brownsville and your Lady Wildcats. Calzada with the serve, and that's another ace. It's a 7-point lead. 12-5. Lady Chargers on top here in set number 2. Calzada serving. I counted 6. We'll see if next time she does the same. Off the net. Good job there by the Lady Wildcats. Perez to get that one over. And a good job that they did because they now got the point and break the serve. Peña back to serve. Back to Libero, and they knock it over on the second shot. And a good job by Perez, looking at the leaning of the back row and caught the Libero back there, leaning to her left, forcing it out on the right side. And that's a point for your Lady Wildcats, 7-12. Up getting high at the net is Perales. So Lady Wildcats pick up 2 quick points, cut it to 4. That is their deficit. 8-12. They are trailing here in set number 2. And that is a point. Marifer Solis with the kill. 13-8. 5-point lead for the Lady Chargers. Cassie Garcia back to serve. Confusion there on the side of the Lady Wildcats. Point Lady Chargers, 14-8. They'll set it up, and that one goes into the net. 15-8, Lady Chargers on top. Garcia continues to serve for the Lady Chargers. First shot goes right over, and in at the net, De Los Santos was ready for that one to knock it right back. And it's an 8-point lead, 16-8 for the Lady Chargers. Back row, Valdez, Figueroa, Perez. They'll set it up to De Los Santos, and that's another point for the Lady Chargers. 17-8, Lady Chargers on top. Garcia with the serve. J-Fig. Perez gets it across. And great job by Perez.
It's all right, let go, shake it off. Short-term memory, forget about it.
Valero back on the court.
Oh, yeah.
Micaela Perales back to serve for your Lady Wildcats. All the way to the back row, Camacho. Middle set. Great job there by Perez. Looking for an open spot. Almost got away with that one. And a little dink across by the Lady Chargers. 18-9. They're up by 9.
That's the way to pick it up, girls. Way to go.
Andrea Chapa back to serve for the Lady Chargers. J. Fig. Juarez. And Valero sends it across. Little carry there. And it's point for the Lady Chargers, 19-9.
There we go. Oh, use it.
Fort with the kill, and it's 20-9. 11-point lead for the Lady Chargers. Chapa serving. Juarez. Perez into the net. 21-9. Timeout called on the court. We're going to take one as well. We are in set number 2. Lady Chargers up 21-9. We'll be right back.
Before Clarissa Renteria was a dentist, she was a student at Weslaco ISD. She was a cheerleader, played softball, and started college early through the dual enrollment program. She graduated from UTPA before earning her degree from the University of Texas School of Dentistry in Houston. Now she is Dr. Renteria, creating beautiful smiles at Professional Dental Group. Weslaco ISD is home to some of the most prestigious graduates in the Rio Grande Valley. For Dr. Clarissa Renteria, WISD was the right choice.
21-9, Lady Chargers on top here in the second set. Chapa back to serve for the Lady Chargers. That's going to be long. 10-21. Lady Wildcats trailing here in set number 2. Valeria Juarez will go back to serve for the Lady Wildcats. All the way to the back row. They'll set it up to Fort, and that's another kill for Fort. 22-10, Lady Chargers on top. Paulina Ramirez serving for the Lady Chargers. Juarez, Perez, Valero. Good save by the Lady Chargers. Second shot over, but Valero was ready for that one. They'll set it up to Valero. A dig from Chapa. Good save there by Valdez. Fort. Good job by Juarez and J-Fig. Valero just ran out of real estate there on the court as that one sailed into the net. But great play by the Lady Wildcats. 23-10, Lady Chargers on top. Ramirez serving. J-Fig. Perez back to Fig. She gets it over. Fort with yet another kill. And now we have set point. 24-10 is the score. Ramirez with the serve. They'll set it up. Getting it across is Perez. De Los Santos. Lady Wildcats keeping it alive. Back across to Avila. She'll push it over. That is out. Set point. Goes to the Lady Chargers. 25-10. They take set number 2. Lady Chargers up 2-0 here in this one. 25-13, 25-10. We'll be back with the third set right here on KWIS. Third set about to get underway here at Weslaco East High School Gymnasium. The Lady Wildcats will be serving down 2-0. Dropped the first one 25-13. Dropped the second one 25-10. And Valeria Juarez will be serving for your Lady Wildcats. Valera Juarez, Jay Fig, and Micaela Perez in the back row for your Lady Wildcats. Up front, Elvira Perez, along with Ambrosia Peña and Carice Perez. So it's Juarez with the serve. That's got to get across, and it does. A good job there by Calzada, Alondra Calzada, by knowing where exactly she is. They say a carry on the Lady Chargers. So the Lady Wildcats open up a quick 2-point lead here. 2-0. That is in, so it's a point for the Lady Chargers. One-two Lady Chargers trailing here in the third set. And it's going to be Michaela Lerma back to serve. Back to Fig. They'll set it up to the top to Peña. Good defense from the Lady Chargers. And Fort just putting it over. They probably were anticipating a spike attempt. And now it's tied at 2. Lerma with the serve. That one goes into the net. 3-2, Lady Chargers on top. So Lerma continues serving for the Lady Chargers. Back row, Valdez, J. Fig, then Perales. Fort. Almost saved there by Perez. Perez really getting low to get that one. Getting that fist underneath, knocking it up, keeping it up in the air. But the Lady Wildcats couldn't get it back. 4-2, Lady Chargers on top. That's going to be long. 3-4, Lady Wildcats. Elvira Perez with the serve. Middle set for Fort. Great job defensively by the Lady Wildcats. Right there in the middle is Peña. But the second time, the Lady Chargers are able to get it down. And now they are up by 2, 5-3. Elise Fort back to serve. Good job there from the back row of the Lady Wildcats. Valdez can get across. And the Lady Chargers send it long, so it's a point for your Lady Wildcats. 4-5. Ambrosia Peña serving. Middle set. Getting it across is Lane. Good job by Valdez. Lane with a little dink as the center was open. And the Lady Chargers pick up another point, 6-4. They are up by 2. Virseida Calzada back to serve. Valdez. Perales. And a point for your Lady Wildcats. Bringing the deficit back to 1. 5-6. Carissa Perez back to serve. Back row. I'll get it back to Lerma. She gets it over. Big swing from Perales. Across. That one's got to get across. Good job there by the Lady Wildcats. Started with Jay Fig there, keeping it alive. Double hit. They're going to say Wildcats, so it's a point for the Lady Chargers. Up by 2, 7-5. Back to serve for the Lady Chargers, Casey Garcia. Into the net, point Lady Chargers. 8-5. Garcia with the serve. That one into the net. So it's a point for the Lady Chargers, 9-5. They are up by 4. Garcia serving. Point Lady Chargers. 10-5 is now the score. Garcia serving. That one back to Perez. Valero has to get it over. She does. We're going to set it up to the top of your screen to Avila. But a good save from your Lady Wildcats. Valero getting it over. Into the net. Point Lady Wildcats. Trailing by 4, 6-10 here in the third set. Micaela Perales will be serving. That's going to be long. 11-6. 5-point lead for the Lady Chargers. Andrea Chapa will go back to serve. Gets over. J-Fig with the second shot across. Still set for Fort. Fort with a little dink. Now she's going to push it over. Good job by the Lady Wildcats defensively as they anticipated both those shots. This time it is long and it is 12-6. 12-6 Lady Chargers on top here in the third set. Chapa with the serve. J-Fig with a good save there. Setting it up to the top. And a good job by Perez. Third shot got to get over. Perez makes sure it does. Set in the middle for Fort. Fort with another kill. 13-6. Lady Chargers on top. Chapa with the serve for the Lady Chargers. In the middle, right across. Good job defensively by Valeria Juarez.
Way to keep it alive, ladies.
They'll set it up to Valero. Valero. Chargers keeping it alive. Getting back there to save it is Perez. And Perez keeps it alive. And the Lady Wildcats capitalize and get themselves another point. 7-13, they are trailing here in the third set. J-Fig back to serve. In the middle of Fort. Fort with a little dink. Juarez sends it over. Top of the screen, into the net. Avila, point Lady Wildcats, 8-13.
Just clean it up, ladies. Let's go.
Chipping back, are you Lady Wildcats here in the third set. They'll set it up to Fort. Fort with a big kill, 14-8. They'll send Ramirez, the lefty, back to serve. Setting up to the top. They get it across. Good job there by Peña as it was just a little long. Good job there in the middle by your Lady Wildcats to keep it alive. And they can't get that one, and that is point Lady Chargers. 15-8, Lady Chargers on top. Into the net. Point. Lady Wildcats, 9-15. That one gets over. In the middle, and the big kill is Ambrosia Peña. Putting a little spark in the life of the Lady Wildcats. Bringing this one to within 5, 10-15. Valeria Juarez serving for your Lady Wildcats. Across is Solis. In the middle, good dink from Peña. First shot right back across from Peña. Set it to Solis. Wildcats can't keep it alive. 16-10. Lady Chargers on top. So they're going to send Michaela Lerma back to serve. J-Fig sends it over. Good dig from Ramirez. Calzada puts it across. That is long. 17-10. Lady Chargers on top. Lerma with the serve. They're going to say it's long. 11-17. Elvira Perez with the serve for your Lady Wildcats. That's 4 hits. So it's a point for your Lady Wildcats. Cutting the lead to bringing it within 5, 12-17. Good job there by the Lady Chargers. Getting it across. 18-12, up by 6. First shot right back over from Valdez. Into the net. Point, Lady Wildcats. Ambrosia Peña back to serve. Lady Wildcats trailing 13-18. Good job there by Perales. She'll get it right back to send it across. In the middle of the lane. Perez with a good save. Little dink across. And it's a point for the Lady Chargers, 19-13, up by 6. They'll send Birseida Calzada back onto the court. She'll go back to serve. Valdez, J-Fig, in the middle to Michaela Perales. That one can't be handled and is now 20-13. Chargers on top here in set number 3.
You're amazing, Grace. You're amazing, Grace.
Calzada serving for the Lady Chargers. That is long. 14-20. Lady Wildcats trailing. Carissa Perez back to serve. Good attempt there by Valero. Couldn't keep it alive. It's 21-14. Lady Chargers on top. Cassie Garcia back to serve. Perez. Good hustle by Juarez. Just could not keep it in play. But an excellent attempt to get to that one. And to even get her hand underneath it. 22-14. Make it 22-15. That one goes under the net. And Micaela Perales will go back to serve. First shot goes over, and a great job by Valero at the net to send it right back. Perez for your Lady Wildcats. That one goes into the net. De Los Santos moving to her left, but that ball would just kept going. Couldn't get it over, so it's a point for your Lady Wildcats. They trail by 6, 16-22. Couldn't be handled by Chapa. Good serve there from Perales. So Perales with the serve. And an ace. Again, going right to Chapa. Went right at her, this one in front of her. 18-22. Perales serving. Again to Chapa. This time right at her. 19-22. Break to serve. J. Fig. Great job by Figueroa and Perez to keep that one alive. Second shot over. Playing it smartly was Juarez. Juarez will set it up to Perez. Just can't get it over. Wanted to send a little dink just across the net. Misjudged the distance. And that's a point for the Lady Chargers. 23-19, they are up. Chapa will be serving. Chapa with the serve. Perales, long. 24-19. Set point for and match point for the Lady Chargers. J. Fig, Juarez, Perez. Get it across. Lady Chargers were waiting for that one. Fort with a big kill. Lady Wildcats can't get it back. And 25-19, the Lady Chargers win the third set. And they win the match. 3-0. 25-13, 25-10, 25-19. 3-0 win for the Lady Chargers. For K-West, I am Joe Aguilar, joined by Vinny Berry, saying goodbye. Once again, Lady Wildcats dropped this one 3-0 to the Lady Chargers. We'll see you next time right here on K-West.